All right, good people. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. While you are here, go ahead and click on the like and subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. The channel's all about talking sports, football, basketball. Don't really do baseball that much, but pro as well as college. And yeah, would love to get a comment from you, questions, anything like that. I'm always willing to respond and interact. So please like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. What I want to talk about today, and it is Tuesday, the 18th of May right now. We have a play-in game tomorrow with the Golden State Warriors and the LA Lakers. It's the 7-8 matchup. There's games going on in the East tonight. But to be quite frank, I don't think really many people are paying attention to those games because those are the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th best teams in the Eastern Conference. In the West, it's a little bit different with the Lakers because Anthony Davis has been hurt for stretches. LeBron has been hurt for, I think, 20-something games that he's missed. And in Golden State, you could argue is probably the 7th or 8th best team, but the Lakers are, I think when LeBron and AD first started with their injuries or first started missing games were like the number 3 or 2 seed, kind of in that range. And for them, they had their slide due to missing their 2 superstars. Whereas the teams in the East, it's like those are just the teams that are in the bottom. Before I talk about the game, I really want to talk about the play-in tournament itself. Like, this is the first time in years, which take 2020 out of it just because of the pandemic and the bubble. That was a unique season, obviously, in its own. But this is the first year we've really talked about the 7, 8 teams at this point in the season. The regular season just ended, but no one ever cared about who the 7 and 8 seed was. And because of the play-in tournament, we're talking about not only the 7-8 team, but also the 9 and 10. And I think it's cool. I think it drives excitement. I think it drives interest, especially for just the NBA as a whole. It's an extra 6 games that are going to happen that in a normal year would not happen. Teams that are, like the Charlotte Hornets are going to get a chance to make the playoffs. And I think, had LaMelo Ball not been injured for, quite a while he had a broken hand or finger, they probably would have already been in. I think they would have probably been a 7 or 8 seed. But to me, I think it's great. I think it is great that they are creating this excitement. I know we've had a couple guys with LeBron and Luka both, have some complaints about it and not really love it. LeBron said something to the tune of, whoever created that should be fired, which I don't think so. The NBA is driven on revenue in dollars, which all leagues are. So this is something that is going to have a lot of eyeballs. To me, I think the Lakers Golden State game are going to have some pretty good ratings for people watching. My biggest issue and complaint is that it's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's pushing my bedtime. I can't stay up like I used to and then wake up and go to work the next day. But I think this is great. I think it creates excitement. I think for teams that are on the fringe of 9 and 10 in the rankings, they get a shot, at least to try to make the playoffs. I think it is cool because, to me, at the end of the day, there's teams that are, under 500 that still make the playoffs. So why not try to create some excitement? This isn't going to be a very long, drawn-out thing. It's going to be, the Lakers and Golden State are going to play on Wednesday, and I believe 2 days later they're going to have the last game where whoever the loser of the 7-8 game is going to be plays the winner of 9 and 10. So I've already done a video on kind of what the play-in tournament is, so feel free to check that out. Didn't want to go too deep into that, but for me, I'm really excited. It's another, a part, 15 of, Steph versus LeBron. They've each had the upper hand in the matchup. I think, where Steph is now, with Clay is injured, they're definitely shorthanded. LeBron has been shorthanded when, you know, Kyrie and Kevin Love were both injured in the finals. You know, and then also once KD came over to Golden State, it you know, has been pretty lopsided each way. But I think that you know, the way that Golden State is playing right now, like Steph has been on a tear, but the Lakers definitely, with their defense and their size, it's going to be a tall task for Golden State. The Lakers have, you know, multiple guys they can throw at Steph, but I think the key for the Lakers is going to be aggressive with Steph, but you can't go overboard to where you're triple teaming him and letting other guys get wide open layups and looks and things like that. You have to be very strategic in how you handle him, how you defend him. You know, we saw, I think it was Portland a couple years ago that played like a box and one, where basically the four guys on defense are playing essentially like a zone, and then one guy is glued to Steph Curry all the time. So he's playing man against Steph. Everybody else is playing zone. I think the best thing is going to be just switch it up, you know, to have different looks on a consistent basis. But you've got to pick Steph up at half court, because he could just take, you know, 2 steps past half court and launch a three and make them, you know, every other time, essentially 50% of the time. So he's a guy that you're definitely going to have to, you know, be aggressive with on defense. And then also too, when you have the ball offensively, you've got to put him in matchups where, you know, you're able to get a bigger guy on him and either back him down, just be physical with him. You got to wear him down on both ends of the floor. LeBron looked really good in his return. I think he's got most of his explosiveness back. You know, he's an athletic freak, and it looks like the ankle injury's behind him. My concern is with Anthony Davis with a groin injury. That's not something that's just going to heal, you know, right away. And he just seems to always have some kind of nicks and stuff going on where that dude cannot stay healthy. I don't know what type of regimen he's got, but it can't be this consistent that you're always getting injured. But the tough part is with a groin injury, it's going to be hard for him to be aggressive, because you just never know what movement will, you know, get that thing to flare back up or strain it, or, you know, kind of make that injury worse, or just not feel how you did pregame. So I think AD won't be able to be as aggressive. Of course, I could be totally wrong. I obviously don't know how he feels, how his body feels, but my prediction is actually going to be, I think Golden State is going to win the game tomorrow night. And for the Laker fans, don't worry, because there's no way the Spurs or the Grizzlies are going to beat the Lakers. So I think what'll end up happening is Golden State gets a 7 seed. The Lakers will then beat the winner of, 9 and 10, the Grizzlies and the Spurs, and then Lakers will be the 8 seed. And as long as, you know, AD and LeBron stay healthy, then I think Utah Jazz is going to get a gentleman's sweep. And we'll see what happens with the Phoenix Suns and you know, the Golden State Warriors, because if Steph has a, you know, 5 or 6 game stretch where he does this that he's been doing, you know, hitting 10 threes every, you know, few games and just going crazy, Phoenix could be in some trouble. So we'll see what happens, but that is my prediction. I'm sure I'll do a reaction video, and if I, you know, need to say that I was wrong, I have no problems doing that. But we shall see. But that is my prediction. And I think Steph's going to go for over 40 in the game. So we'll see what happens. And I appreciate it. Once again, please like and subscribe. I appreciate the support. Appreciate it. Have a good one.